Will your heart and soul say yes? Say yes. So today's talk is about that, saying yes to your greater good. Now here's the thing about that line, saying yes to your greater good. The operative word here is greater good. See, because first of all, let's break this down, that we are surrounded by good all of the time. The fact that we wake up is a good thing. The fact that we have a roof over our heads, it's a good thing. The fact that we have a community to come to and share and to laugh and to sing, that's a good thing. You know, I was over at Annie's and Reverend Divine's house last evening, and was in the backyard. And the backyard faces the east. And the view of the mountain and the full moon, oh my God, just gorgeous. So we are surrounded by good all the time. So what this is about saying yes to is saying yes to something greater. See, because a lot of times we take that good for granted. We don't even think about the fact that we take a breath. Do you understand that without breathing, there's nothing else going on? You get that, right? But how many of us, there's a Toyota out there that I know. Hang on for a moment. My brother Masando, Reverend Masando Hiraoka. Yes. I look at something, I know that Toyota. I need to get your address before we leave, all right? Cool. Reverend Michael just moved down here to be the associate minister? Yes, assistant minister of social justice at ACSL. Thank you. All I know is that this is my brother. And I'm so glad you're here, man. And so we take even great friendships sometimes for granted. And these friendships are good. They're fantastic. So what we are talking about doing is saying yes to a greater good. Now, here's the thing. For each and every one of us, it's going to be different. So I want you to bring to mind your greater good that you have not said yes to yet. Take a breath. Do you have that in mind? So now, the question that you get to ask yourself, and you don't have to ask anyone else, because this is all about you, is what has kept you from saying yes to that greater good? Now, of course, the common answer is fear. We get that. That word umbrellas everything. Fear of being seen, fear of not being seen, fear of failure, fear of success. But you know what we want to do is to recognize that once we say yes to our greater good, there's nothing to fear because we are surrounded by this divine intelligence. We are surrounded by a power and a presence that loves itself so much that it recreated itself and came here to be you. So it is that sacred yes. Once we say yes and step into that path of saying yes, you have all the support that you could ever think that you need. Does that make sense? And is there a show of hands? Because I like to have this interconnectedness. Well, hang on before you put up your hand, Noni. You haven't heard the question yet. Even with your sacred yes, are there still a couple of you out there that are still a little fearful? Yeah, thank you. Oh, there are two hands up. Stop it. Here it is about the fear. Feel the fear and step through it anyway. Feel the fear and do it regardless. I had a mentor of mine, Reverend Nirvana Gale, say to me, Eugene, fear is not there to block you. Fear is for you to walk through. And once we walk through that fear based on our sacred yes, once we walk through that fear, what's on the other side of that wall of fear is a world of everlasting bliss, ever expanding good, which is another way of saying heaven. So we do not have to wait for the by and by to experience this thing called heaven that's supposedly up in the sky. Yeshua Messiah said that heaven is at hand, meaning that it's right now. Bruce was speaking about his son who was two hours old. I can ask Bruce, were you in heaven at that time? Absolutely. Bruce and I were speaking before the service, and I was speaking about being a dad. And one of my most memorable thoughts about that is when my first child was born, the only girl that I have. I have one girl and 3 boys. And there's a difference, truly. And there's a difference. But outside of the doctor delivering the head, I took care of the rest. I delivered Lauren, cut the cord, bathed her, wrapped her in the blanket, and presented her to her mother, then went outside and just dropped to my knees and cried. Because it is such a miracle. Saying yes to your greater good is about identifying what that greater good is for you. Now, a lot of us in the room might say that having perfect health is a greater good. Having more abundance is a greater good. Having more friends is a greater good. Stepping into being more in your work is a greater good. Whatever is your greater good is perfect for you. Exactly perfect. But the thing that it is to say yes. And in spite of what seems to be going on, you will have good friends and family who could be your naysayers going, that'll never work. How many in the room have come across that? You can't do that. You don't know enough. You're not rich enough. You don't live in the right place. You don't have enough education. Whatever the excuses are, you know what? Shh, don't tell them this, though, okay? They're afraid to step into their greater good, and so they may be a little jealous. But that's okay. We get to love them and then walk down that path of what is the greatest good for you. But I want to get back to something else first, because we have another 10 minutes. Jane says, you have as much time as you want. No, I don't. It's 100 degrees. But we have swamp coolers. So the song I began with, will your heart and soul say yes? In order for us to say yes to that greater good, we have to identify what that greater good for us is. And I had you raise your hands, I had you take a breath, I had you think about what that might be. Once you have that in mind, the next step is to take it from the mind and anchor it in your heart. Yes, this is what I am here to do. My greater good uplifts me. My greater good makes it so that I do not have to worry about the fear. My greater good, my yes to my greater good, it causes me to step forward no matter what. No matter what the family says, no matter what my best friend may say, because this greater good, praise God, this greater good is coming from a space where it's a divine within you that's saying, we need to do this. You see that Spirit can only work for you by working through you. So when you have this great desire on your heart to accomplish that, I like to say it is God's will. See, I understand, or I happen to stand in this awareness that my greatest desire in God's will, your greatest desire in God's will is the same thing. For example, you have a desire to live a life of peace. Guess what? That's Spirit's will for your life. You have a desire to live a life of abundance. Guess what? That's Spirit's will for your life. So where do you think the desire in your heart came from in the first place? Call it God, call it Spirit, call it infinite intelligence, whatever you call it. It's really an impossible thing to put a name on the nameless. But because we live in this vibration and live in this field of language, well, words are what we have to express something that sometimes we cannot even have a meaning for, but here it is. Anyway, so that will of God, the will of Spirit, the will of the divine intelligence puts this desire on your heart. Why? Because it wants to experience itself in, through, and as you. Does that make sense? So, and whenever I speak, and I've done this a few times here, I come from a tradition where people talk back. So it's okay to yell out or whatever you want to do, or not. It's okay not to. Right? Good. Say yes to your greater good. Now, the fear that comes up, it is only there to act as if it's a block, but it's not a block. See, you have to understand, and I want to say it like that, you have to understand or understand that you are the divine expression of the divine. Get that you are here. I want you to realize that you may be the only way that people experience God. You may be the only way that people experience love. You may be the only way that people experience peace. Now that may sound as if it's a great big responsibility, and it only will feel like that if I think that I'm the one doing it. So the job that I have, the job that we all have, is to move out of the way so that the way of Spirit can move through us. And as we continue to say yes, as we step into that vibration of the sacred yes, we will find that we are absolutely and divinely and abundantly supported in all that we do. So, one of the things I love to have people do, especially men, because men are courageous and they're bold and they fear nothing, is to get into front of the mirror, look yourself in the face, look yourself in the eyes, and say, I love you. Yes, I love you. One of the other exercises along with that is to look into the mirror and say, behold the face of God. Breathe that in. People may, in the audience, go, that's a little egotistical. None of you, though. Let me take that back. None of you would think that. But here's the thing. It's the truth. No matter whether or not you believe it, it's the truth. So the practice is, behold the face of God. Behold the beauty of God. I love you. And it is in this love that the sacred yes is fueled by. So that sacred yes is fueled by the unconditional love of God that is the very essence of your being. So no matter what the fear is, no matter what the hesitation is, will your heart and soul say yes? Yes. Be all that you can be, no matter what. No matter the experiences that you've had in the past. Here's the thing about those experiences in the past. They are exactly that, in the past. There's nothing we can do about the past. Nor is there anything, where are you going with this one, Eugene? To the edge. There is nothing that we can really do about the future except for prepare for it in this moment. And in this moment, we prepare for it by saying, yes, I can do this. And to be bold about it. To live your life in such a way where people may say, God, that person, they love life. They love life. They're a little to the left. They're a little crazy, but they love life. And so that's what the sacred yes is about. Saying yes to your greater good is saying yes to you. Saying yes to your greater good is saying yes to being that vehicle, that vessel, that instrument of divine love, unconditional love, which means that I love my neighbor no matter what they do, say, or whatever. Whew. Here's a great one to say yes to. Your intimate relationships. Oh, good. No reaction to that one. That's a good one. That means that your intimate relationships are all good, right? Yes, oh yeah. What about the rest of you now? But relationship is a spiritual practice. So in saying yes to your greater good is saying yes to being the light that you are. Saying yes to your greater good is about experiencing life from the deep wellspring of love. Saying yes to your greater good is saying yes to all of life. See, and the thing about this spiritual vibration, what's good for you must be good for the planet. So when we speak about the relationship, whatever's going on in the relationship, be it the relationship with your partner, be it the relationship with High Desert Center for Spiritual Living, be it the relationship with the clerk at the market, whatever is good for you is good for everyone involved. Trust that your sacred yes will guide you to your greater yet to be. Trust that your sacred yes will uplift you, and trust that that sacred yes will open up the doors to support you in so many ways that you haven't even begun to think about yet. Your sacred yes is the driving force, because that yes comes from your heart. It's this, yes, I can do this no matter what they say. Yes, I can do this no matter what my experience in the past may have been. What I love about the past experiences for me is they teach me. It's like, ooh, don't do that again. Or, that worked, let's try that again. Other than that, let the past go. Let the past go. Let the dead bury the dead. Let it go. And continue to flow with that sacred yes, knowing that you can never fail. Because in God, in the divine, in the beloved intelligence of the universe, there is no failure. I love that saying that's attributed to, Thomas Edison. And they said to him, Thomas Edison, you have failed 635 times in trying to invent the light bulb. And he says, no, I found 635 ways that it didn't work. But we keep trying, keep saying yes, keep saying yes, keep saying yes, keep saying yes. So, I want you to bring to mind something that has been on your heart that you have not said yes to. Again, take a breath, bring that to mind again. And before we take this to prayer, my question to you with what you have in mind right now, are you ready to say yes? That was not a rhetorical question. Are you really ready to say yes? Yes. Are you ready to live a life that is so abundant that it just excites you? Yes. Are you ready to be excited about life, no matter what? Yes. Is there anything that can stop you? No. Thank you. Because no is a complete sentence, and it is a divine, powerful tool. Because sometimes we have to say no to stuff that does not work. So, saying yes to your greater good is about allowing the Spirit to live its life in, through, and as you. As Dr. Holmes says, there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is your life now. Let's pray. And so it is in this vibration of yes. It is in this vibration of gratitude that I speak this word, and the word that I speak is yes. The word that I speak is God. And I recognize that this infinite intelligence is everywhere present, fulfilling itself in, through, and as all of life. Yes, all that I see, all that I know, all that I feel, all that I breathe is the life of God. And then recognizing that it is everywhere present. And then recognizing and acknowledging its presence everywhere, it must be right where I am. For this divine intelligence expresses itself in, through, and as the I am that I am. And as I know this to be the truth of my life, I know this to be the truth of each and every individualized expression of God sitting in the chairs here today at High Desert Centers for Spiritual Living. Right where we are, God is. And so it is from this awareness of our oneness in God that I speak this word, for being bold, for saying yes to our greater good. And speaking this word, I know that as we say yes, as we step into the perfect unfoldment of our lives, I know that we are all uplifted, we are absolutely gifted and guided and directed to experience God's greatest good for our lives. So it is from this place of yes, it is in this vibration of absolute certainty that there is no failure, only success, that I absolutely give great thanks for the greatest good that is being expressed through each of us today and every day of our lives. We say yes. We say yes. And then we give great thanks because we know that we are absolutely supported and abundantly supported. So we give great thanks for the expression of this word. We give great thanks for the expression of our lives, knowing that our lives express only the fullness of perfection. Yes, we are the perfect emanation of the one. From this place of gratitude and thanksgiving, I release this word into the perfect and always activity of love and law, knowing that as I release this word into the law must return our words unto us completely fulfilled. And we say, yes, it is fulfilled. We say, yes, it is done. And we allow it to be so now. And so it is. Amen. Peace and blessings.